What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. That would make you John the Arrow Fallon. John, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Lance? Middle name, Velchek.
No, joking aside, man. I'm doing good, man. Same. Living life. I'm assuming you are doing the same.
Yeah.
You're looking healthy?
Yeah, I'm looking healthy. I'm feeling better. So hitting the gym. You see, look. Hitting the gym. There you go. Look at the guns on that animal. So yeah, no, all good, dude. All good. And I'm pretty pumped about today's Off the Cuff, guys, because we're gonna talk about, I don't know if he's my favorite or my second favorite. I'm not sure. A horror icon, as we all know, as Freddy Krueger. But before that, you know the drill, and I hope it's not fucking water. What are you drinking?
I asked the missus to go get me a Red Bull. So she got me a Red Bull. Yeah, so I'll be drinking that. I do love these more than life. It actually almost killed me once. I ended up doing this in about like 4 or 5 energies. Blood pressure is crazy high. But I'm gonna drink out of a glass because I'm classy.
Okay,
like
just
that.
to look a little bit more classy.
No, I mean I do this just alone in my house because I think drinking out of a can is kind of like I'm better than that. You know, I'm better than that.
You're funny. Well,
What about you, buddy?
I got an IPA. Zingo.
Oh, Lagunitas, man. I like them. Used to have a brewery near my old place.
No, it's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good.
Their percentages are high, correct? What is that, like a 9 or 10?
6.2.
Oh,
That's a job done. Actually, it's good timing for me because I'm stressed out of my ass. Today, I'm like bouncing off walls. Too much green tea. So this will chill me out.
My friend. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Lance. Cheers to all of you.
Bourbon on the rocks. That'll do it.
I like Red Bull with vodka in it. Otherwise, not worth my time. That's just me.
One of those. All right, buddy. Well, let's get to Freddy because I'm excited because I actually did some research on a couple ones that I actually love and I'm opinionated. So I like to kind of just argue about what works and what doesn't.
Why do we always have to argue? We don't have to argue. We're debating. We're communicating. Something that's been lost in today's society. Yes, you could have different opinions and dialogue and respect each other for it. You know? I
think I'm just using the word wrong. I use argue as it's almost like a friendly thing. You know, I debate people I don't like. I argue with friends, you know? Because an argument to me is like a fun thing. I love you. Debate, it's like, I'm going to break you.
You want me to get it going or are you going to get it going?
No, I'd like to see
I didn't prepare for shit. So guys, whatever's going to come out of my mouth is completely zero prep. Zero. All right. Freddy Krueger, our favorite child killer, dream stalker. He's been in 7 movies. We're not going to talk about the remake. It's not worth it, right?
No, we're talking Robert Englund.
Yeah, Bobby. So I guess let's start with this. Which is your favorite incarnation of Freddy Krueger in terms of look, performance, and I guess that's it, right? Looks, performance, and feel, mood, atmosphere.
Okay.
Go with that.
It's hard because I at first I have one, but I'm gonna have to split it. Well, here's the deal. And we might have talked about this. I think we actually met in the middle, if I'm correct, a long time ago. But my favorite look is actually from a movie that I don't really revisit a lot because I don't love it, which is Freddy's Revenge. I still think that's my favorite Freddy look because it's the iconic look. It's the first one that gave him the witch nose. Yeah. But also, it went more monsterish. You know, the first one, there's like burns. He's kind of flaky. There's like ears kind of falling off. This, it's like a one piece. You know, he looks like a monster. A deep, seated-eyed, brow bone. He had those big, I believe they're big ass pupiled contact lenses. He just looks bizarre, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite performance though. I mean, I think it's good, but he's in it so little, and he's playing like a different Freddy. So it's one of those like. Performance-wise, I don't know if I can count it because this movie was like the only one that was sort of black sheeped out of the story, right? Because it's like 1, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, it's a one-off. It's a one-off where they actually tried to do something different. They didn't think it would become a franchise, and then surprise, surprise, part 2 made more money than part 1, and then they had a full-blown franchise. I'll stop you right there because I'm going to agree with you. Part 2 is my favorite look.
All right, show's over. See you.
Later, bro. No, it's my favorite look because, like you said, the hook nose, the contact lenses. There's that, there's that close up at a certain point on him, and the way they light his eyes. There's just his eyes are piercing out. The makeup effects. I think was it Kevin Yeager actually? Yeah,
yes.
That's Kevin Yeager's first take on the Freddy look. Freddy in part 1 was kept in the shadows a lot. Freddy in part 2, it felt like they were more confident about the makeup. Maybe they had a bit more money in part 1. So he's shown more in the light. Actually, he's shown a lot more in the light. Remember when he attacks Lisa? when he attacks Lisa, it's like bright, but he still looks good. He looks like a bumbling idiot, though, but I'm not talking about his actions. I'm talking about his look. His look really is, numero uno. So we agree. So ding, ding, best Freddy look. What do you guys think, by the way? Your favorite Freddy look? The rest. So favorite Freddy performance.
Okay, there's 2 answers. There's the one that there's my answer, and then there's, I would say, like the political answer, and one that I can't.
I don't want the political answer.
Well, no, because that exists. That exists though, because it's not. I'm not faking something or pretending. The political answer is me saying like, okay, good. Real quick sideline. Sometimes I could, like, if you give me a discography of a band, right, and everybody agrees this is their best album, I could be like, I agree, that's their best album. Like in terms of structure, songwriting, but I actually think this one's my favorite. It's like that kind of thing. So the reason I say that is because practically part 3 is my favorite Freddy because it's the best of all of them rolled into one. I think his look was a little more redefined. I like him creepier in part 2, but part 3 is, you see a poster of Freddy, it's usually that Freddy. I'm saying? It's just his actions, his mood. He plays the humor card just enough, but he's still threatening and mean. So I would say that's the one that I would agree is the best. But I always seem to lean towards the entity from New Nightmare because it's creepy. And I just am like, I want that. I want creepy, silent monster Freddy because that's the one that if anyone would ever get me, that's the one that is always ticked off. So but that's David Miller, who did part 1.
Part 1.
And he also did my least favorite, which we'll talk about. But he has that big badass coat. His actions are just very cold. He has the blue contacts this time, a green fedora. His makeup is just like basically just these big sores. I don't know. Something about that action that I always liked. I mean, I guess we could argue that's not really Freddy, but it's like, well, it's Freddy.
It's Freddy.
It's just not the Freddy of the movies. But I don't know. For some reason, that's the one I'm drawn towards if you had to put a gun in my head. Though I would agree that because this is probably my favorite overall.
I'm talking performance here, not. I mean, of course, the look plays into the performance. But
sure, but that's a creepier performance. It's a darker. It's not actiony, and I like that. I actually don't like when Freddy moves too much because it almost reminds me that it's like it's a small man being scary. It almost brings me out. So 3 I think is the perfect balance. I think after 3.
So 3 is your political choice.
I think 3 is the best performance because it's everything, but I personally like the stoicness of the entity from New Nightmare. Like I think that's my favorite performance because it's, I guess, the opposite. I'm like being an untraditionalist.
It's funny, because part 1 and part 7 both have something in common, other than the callbacks or whatnot. Is in the last act, Freddy's a bitch. He tumbles around. He's falling around. He's making like I just said, he's making a fucking fool.
Yeah, there's too many wides of him like struggling. It's like, part 2 when he's fighting Lisa, like it just seems so like adorable. It's not even like he is like struggling. I'm like, what are we doing, guys? Cut.
Well, another, I guess, half. Ding ding. Part 3. Part 3 for me is my favorite Freddy Krueger performance. Because exactly what you just said, it's a good mix of the jokes and the wisecracks, but yet still managing to be menacing pretty much throughout. I mean, there's so many scenes in that one that's out of line. Like, just as an example, the scene, and I love Robert Englund's performance in that scene. The kid in the wheelchair, and I forgot his name. You have it? You write everything down, no?
I mean, not names, no.
Oh, fuck you. Okay, the kid in the wheelchair. And he says some shit like that, you know. I am the wizard master. And he comes, you know. And Freddy says something along the lines as, but when you wake up, it's back in the saddle again. And just the way he says it, that menace, that, hey, asshole, you're gonna, be happy your little moment in the sun right now, because you wake up, you're back in that chair, motherfucker. So there's a mean-spiritedness about Freddy in part 3, which is perfectly balanced with the sense of humor, you know, welcome to primetime, bitch, or, you know, what a rush. So it's a perfect Freddy, performance-wise, and he's not bumbling like part 1 and part 7, you know, not as much. I can't think of a scene where he's making a freaking fool of himself, you know? I can't think of one. Wait, can you think of one?
What, where he's not making a fool, or he's making a fool of himself?
Where he is making a fool of himself in part 3. I don't.
No. Because part 3 is the one. It's like, okay, 1 was creepy, 2 was this weird deviation, and it became popular enough in that time where I almost felt like this is like this is when like the producer comes in and the band's in the 3rd album and they fucking make masterpiece. You know, you just need that one extra guy to be like, hey guys, what about this? So somebody, which I'm gonna guess is Frank Darabont because he's my guy, came in and was like, what about this? And then we got that just perfectly cut, you know, badass, creepy, cool, but not goofy. He's not flailing around, you know. He's not struggling on the ground. It's not the pool party. Sorry, I'm gonna just keep going back to that. He's trying to catch kids. It's like, what are you doing?
Sorry, I needed that, man. Life's been rough. Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. He's trying to catch kids. Little guy, you know.
And all the teenagers, like, you know, 38. And just
so I guess another ding ding, bro. Ding ding.
So we're on the same page. What are we doing?
For 2, what's going on?
Well, the question is then let's go over the worst. Because if we decided what's the best, I'm actually curious because I don't think we have the same one here. So I'm gonna let you jump in case we do, and that'll be another ding.
The worst look-wise, easily for me is part 5.
Okay. What are we doing here, John?
Yeah.
What are we doing? I agree,
your time, man. Really? Yeah, it's part 5. He looks like and no disrespect to the artists that work hard, and I know part 5 was a really tough shoot. They crammed everything in a very short period of time. Studio had a gun to everybody's head.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, no disrespect to nobody's work, but he looked like a crackhead. He looked like, you know, like a crackhead whore that got used in so many holes so many times that she's just done. She's just fucking done. You know, he looks weary and tired. And I know that's the point because he lost all his powers. But as he regains his powers, his strength, he still looks like a fucking crackhead.
Because I don't believe that was. I know they say that, but I don't believe it. I believe that's like retroactively what they're saying. I just don't in my heart believe it because.
You think they covered their ass? The makeup sucks?
Oh, absolutely. Why would you not? Because that's a good reason. And you know, I can't fight that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But you point out logically, okay, but then you lazy asshole should have adapted like 3 sections of Freddy where he like gets bigger and stronger.
Yeah, but what I just say, man, they had a gun to their heads, man. The shooting schedules was ridiculous.
Which is why I don't believe it's. I think I think they're lying. I do.
I think it's a cop out. I disagree.
Yeah, because watching the documentary, it's like the rush is him having to like figure out a new look from whatever it was, and I just think he like. Yeah, I feel bad saying this. I don't think they gave enough time. So I think this is just what he did. Because like there's some weird things. His ears are like sticking out.
Yeah,
they look like goblin ears. You know, it's a little more saggy, and it almost to me looks like it doesn't fit. I don't know.
He's a mess. Basically, he's a fucking mess. So that's so again, ding ding. We're on the same page. And worst performance wise, I'm gonna let you go first, Mr. Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's Dead.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
And again, only my opinion, and I mean this with all respect because I love all this. I've owned it in my life. I have a giant poster that's framed expensively of a movie I don't even love because I just think the artwork's so cool. But it seemed like everybody was done. This seemed this seemed like a shoot where it was just people were like they want to go home. Robert Englund just did not seem into it. He seemed kind of to phone it in, and I also think the script made him do things that just
the cartwheel, baby, the cartwheel. What about this? I was sitting in the theaters. I'm like, what's Freddy doing, man? What's going on here, man?
Well, in your review, I remember because I always think of it as the Wicked Witch thing. It's like, I'll get you in your little soul too.
Yeah, and your little soul too.
Okay, guys. Okay,
and that's out the gate. So that's when I knew, okay, I'm fucked. Whatever they tried to do, because it's funny. I read a lot about they were trying to make Freddy scary again in Part 5. Make it darker and everything.
And I could see that, even though they bumbled
to some degree. I mean, Super Freddy and. It's saying I got the power glove. Oh no, that's Part 6 actually.
Yeah,
but Super Freddy on the skateboard and
they bumbled it. I don't think they really understood what they were doing. But this one made that one seem super serious. This one, I mean, it's like, oh, dude. And Freddy's like just out. I swear every shot of him is a wide under sunlight. Every time. It's in the dark, but there's a giant light. I'm like, why are we lighting this guy up so much? It's just, it's rough, man. I'll admit it. Yeah, it's not good.
He's like he's a child, in Part 6. He's when he does, I just did it. I'll do it again. I got the power glove, and he's like, what are you doing?
It breaks the fourth wall. It's like,
exactly.
Yes. Sparkles can't lose. What we're doing here?
What's going on? Anyways, all right. Well, dude, I'm actually. Quite surprised. We're actually 100% on the same page. I will say this before we cap it off. The thing about Freddy that I always not like in the book, the novelization and in Wes Craven's initial script, as you may know, as you guys and dolls may know as well, he was a child molester and killer, not just a child killer. And I think that made him even more appalling, if you will. In the first film, they kind of cut that out because it was offending people, and that's why I liked it. It's a horror movie. I want to be, shocked. I wanted to get under my skin. I will say this: the part in Part 4, the moment in Part 4 with the girl in the classroom and. He removes her glasses and he starts wiggling his fucking tongue. And then he says, "You want to suck face?" And that within the entire franchise for me is the Freddy moment where I feel, okay, there's the perv. Because you don't really feel he's a perv like throughout the franchise. But that moment, there's the perv. And can you imagine if they would have had a bit more of that in Part 1 or Part 3? I guess he's a perv. He turns into a hot chick with big tits in 3 and 4, but no, it's kind of like Part 4 is a joke, it's a jokey Freddy, MTV Freddy, but that moment kind of gets under my skin, So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Anyways, that's it, guys, dolls. What about you? What's your favorite Freddy Krueger look? What is your favorite Freddy Krueger performance? And same thing on the flip side, your least favorite Freddy Krueger look and least favorite Freddy Krueger performance. Let us know. Stab the comments below. And I think that's pretty much it. You like that, eh? That's pretty much it. Cheers, everybody. See you next time. Cheers, my man. I just burped. Sorry.